palms here. Most beautiful, robust I've ever seen. Just check this out right here. So we'll start it off here, guys. Number 6. I'm here at Aquarium Encounters. I don't know, I can't see the front. Aquarium Encounters in Marathon, Florida. Florida Keys. And started off with this one, Pseudo Phoenix Sargentii, I believe, Buccaneer Palms, the common name. It's a great palm for the Florida Keys. Most of these are all pinnate of these ones I'm talking about here. And this one's another one where it's pinnate. Beautiful palm though. And definitely, these are all, none of these are cold hardy. These are all going to be basically zone 10 palms. So this is a great palm for the Florida Keys, native to the Caribbean. And I believe they're even native to the Florida Keys. They're sort of bipinnate, and they kind of almost, they have a recurve to them. They're like, well, just look down the frond there. Just a beautiful look. The way all the leaflets come off of the rachis, and pretty short petioles. And I think they're relatively slow growing, as far as I can see from my experience. But they're a nice stature palm, great medium size. They're not huge, they're not tiny. They don't look like a bush, and they don't look like a massive 100-foot tall palm. This one's actually opening, just finished the front, and it's opening another one. So here's a cool one, Pseudo Phoenix Sargentii, or Buccaneer Palm, I think is the common name. That's what that thing says. I'm pretty sure that's correct. Beautiful trunks on them too, and yeah, try one of these out. So it's really smooth, kind of like a waxy finish, just gorgeous. So great palm for the Florida Keys. And with number 5, these are not in any particular order, but this is one of the coolest palms you can grow in the Florida Keys. You probably can't really try this in Miami. This is in Marathon here. From what I understand, this is about as far north as you could go. So this is like almost middle Keys, south of Key Largo, basically. Anything south of Key Largo, you'd be pretty good. You might be able to try it in an area of Key Largo with some protection and stuff. Minimum temperature is about 45. Anywhere in the 40s for any duration, they're going to be having trouble. This is actually one of the coldest days of the year here, and it's about 17 Celsius, 18 Celsius, so, and they're supposed to be going down to around 14 to 11, depending on where you are. I don't know. This area is right on the ocean, so probably not, but around, if it went down even around 11 to 12 Celsius, that's pretty cold for this guy. So this is one of the coldest days. But the regular lipstick palm, hardy to about zone 15. I don't know, just kidding. It's hardy to about zone 11. So yeah, this is something to try if you live in the Florida Keys. Definitely if you live in the South Florida Keys, try one of these out. Lipstick palm, I'm not going to try to pronounce the regular name, but beautiful palm, kind of rare. This is more of like a bonus. Just thought I'd start it off with this. But all the other stuff is going to be stuff that most people can grow. This is something to try if you want. But well, here's number 4. So I'm here at one of my favorite restaurants, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill in Key Largo, and you know it, you love it, you guessed it, the Royal Palm. So here's this one. You can see they got some pretty healthy looking ones here with an absolute massive, like I always say, it looks like a concrete pillar. It's perfectly smooth, great trunk. And yeah, so the Royal Palm, this is the only one that's a little more cold hardy than the other ones. They're not. They're still roughly, I think realistically, they're still listed as a zone 10 palm. So good for Miami everywhere. A lot of people try them in Central Florida and stuff. Again, this video is not to talk about the hardiness. These are just bulletproof here in the Florida Keys, Miami and the Florida Keys. So that's what it's for. I'd say it's one of the best palms. Of these best palms, this one is probably the most beautiful and the most grand, but not everybody has the space and wants that much shade, wants this giant plant. And if you're gonna buy it big, it's expensive. As far as the growth goes, these are some of the faster growing ones of all these palms. I believe they are the fastest growing ones of all these palms, but they're just so formal and beautiful. For some people, it's a little too formal for their front yard, but they are absolutely breathtaking. There's tons of them here. These ones are right on the ocean. They've gotten beat up by some winter storms here and stuff, like some high winds and salty sea air. And yeah, anyways, so, but they still look great. They look beautiful. Yeah, so they're native to this area and to Cuba. Nobody really knows the difference of the Florida native versus the Cuban one. They believe now they are actually the same palm tree. So, but nevertheless, the Royal Palm is, all right guys, so number 3 is the Radiata Radiata. Beautiful little palm. This is nice because it's a nice small one. Again, it's Florida thatch palm, native to the Florida Keys in South Florida. Yeah, I'm not sure, these might actually be able to take a little more frost, but definitely they're not, none of these palms are very cold hardy in comparison to a lot of other palms that I'm used to growing. So, but definitely I would say it's for sure zone 10, but you might be able to get away with it in 9B. I don't have experience from this, so I can't tell you. I'm not talking about these for cold hardiness really. We're just talking about beautiful palms to plant if you live in Miami or the Florida Keys. So or they used to call it Radiata Radiata, but now I think it's just Radiata Radiata. So I've grown these from seed. They're really easy to grow from seed. They're pretty weedy. From my experience, I see them growing everywhere in the Florida Keys. Got a couple nice ones here. Got another nice little one here in the sun. Be a little bit tidier, but they stay dark green. They're native, like why not be planting them? They're small, they're kind of cool looking, kind of tropical looking. There's some more up here. And yeah, the fronds are really neat, They have like a kind of like a windmill, but more spiky. And here, this one's open in the front right now. So beautiful palm to plant. And yeah, they're native to the area. So enjoy. I think this one's got a bit of, that's some type of bugs. What the hell's it called? I don't know, some type of, I can't think right now, scale or something. But anyways, yeah, beautiful. Sorry, the sun just went away, but beautiful palm. So this is what I put at number 3. Nice tiny palm, relatively slow growing, but it's got a good small stature. You can basically plant it anywhere. So if you don't have a lot of room, plant these. Really tropical, looks really cool. It's beautiful. Kind of look like a bush at first, but I have seen them get, I think the max height is around maybe 30 feet, something like that. I've seen them around that size in the Keys here that got to be prehistoric. Because from my experience, they're very slow growing. So these, I mean, this palm here could be very old. It depends on the water and fertilizer and everything like that. But beautiful palms, and yeah, that's what I put them at number 3. So the native Radiata Radiata. So guys, number 2 is the Christmas palm, or Adenidia amarylli. Adenidia, standard Christmas palm, I would say. And these ones here, the reason why I chose this one is it's actually got a really, really, really fat trunk. You can look there for Christmas. They can actually even get a little bit fatter than this. This is pretty fat though. Looks really nice. There's my hand. I have giant hands and a big fat crown here. This is how they should look. And this one's fairly dark green. Hard to see anyways because there's a bit of sun and some clouds, but pretty dark green. The only problem with these is they get spider mites, and I can actually see the eggs, and I can see spider mites on this one right here. I can actually see them right there. You won't be able to see them because they're tiny, but I can actually see the eggs and the spider mites on there. So that's the only downfall with these. Of course, pretty much all these palms are zone 10 palms. So here's a sweet row of them here. That's why I was picking these out. These are all pretty much zone 10. Of course, because it's for the Keys, so these cannot really take any frost or anything, but there's a nice row of them here. Some of them are slower, but perfect height, great stature, beautiful palms. They're just great, great, great palms. The only thing is too, is you can see some over right there on the other side of the parking lot, and they're a little bit yellow. These can get a little bit more yellow. They can suffer from some deficiencies, so keep them fertilized in water and they'll look, these ones are all actually pretty dark green. That's why I kind of chose this setup here, and there's a ton of them. So these ones are pretty dark green and all thick trunks. So keep the trunk, we'll tell you, some of them when the trunk gets really small, then they're not doing good. Yeah, just keep them watered and keep them fertilized, and they'll hold a lot of fronds like this. These are holding a ton of fronds right now. This one is, and so are some of those. So, and they can take full sun, and they can also take quite a bit of shade. These ones are really, really, really in full sun. So sometimes they'll actually look a little bit better with more shade, but they tolerate both. Very, very, very drought tolerant from my experience. They'll take tons and tons of drought. So great palm. So that's why they're number 2. I think they're perfect because the size. Some of the other ones can get a little bigger. This one and another one on the list here are going to be a little bit smaller. So this is one of the smaller ones on the list, but it's a perfect palm for the Florida Keys and Miami. All right, guys. So here's number 1. The best palm to grow in Miami or the Florida Keys is Cocos nuciferic, the coconut palm. they're you know, I would say moderate growers. Down here you'll be getting good growth out of them for sure. They're gonna keep growing. They're really you know, sort of drought tolerant, salt tolerant. They do like water, but they can take tons of water or not as much, really, from my experience, from seeing them growing. And they usually, doesn't take much to keep them. They have very little nutritional requirements, so they're a perfect palm for down here. And the Florida soils and these beachy areas here lack a lot of stuff. It's just like coral and sand and rock, and they seem to love it. So you don't see too many yellow ones. They don't seem to keep they keep a lot of fronds. The only downside I would say is they're big, going to be expensive to prune. You're going to want to prune the nuts off them, of course, too. Of course, they are zone 10. Like I said, pretty much all of these palms are going to be like a solid zone 10. So they would get really damaged or die in a frost, severely damaged in a frost, and likely die in a freeze. So these areas here are fully tropical, so you don't have to worry about that. Miami has had it before, I think, but usually most of the coconuts have come back from hearing from people, or they didn't die at all. So anyways, yeah, the coconut palm, I believe they're native. They're really native to all over the warm places, the Caribbean and stuff. I think they might originally, I think the internet says they're originally from like Malaysia and the Philippines and stuff like that. I don't think there's really any way of knowing. And then they say there's Jamaican tall and Malaysian dwarf and all these different ones, but they're all pretty much the same. There's definitely dwarf varieties. I think that's just more so from people breeding them, like picking the smaller ones that were fruiting at younger ages and continuously doing that, kind of like dogs, and just making them fruit at younger ages. There might be different complete strains, but as far as I know, it's the only really tree in the family is the Cocos nuciferus. So standard coconut palm, number one, best palm. Just the size, if you don't have a ton of room, might not be great. Some of them, they do grow in different statures, so you know, some of them look a bit smaller, some of them take up less room, some of them take up a ton of room. So pick the right one if you want a small one, if you don't have the space, or just pick a big one and put it in an area where it won't bother you, or plant it when it's a bit taller by them with some trunk so that the fronds are above your space so that you don't have to worry about it. But great palm. This is the best palm. That's the only palm I would plant because you're going to get fruit off it too. And not the only one I'd plant. I plant all of these. But this is number one. I'd say the best palm to plant if you live in the Florida Keys. So thanks for watching, guys. Like and subscribe. Later.